Just in case you missed it, it's the top 5 sports talkers of the day. Now, it's time for Dan Barrero's Top 5 at 5. Brought to you by Gutter Helmet of Minnesota. Never clean your gutters again. Learn more at gutterhelmetmn.com.
I'm going to go to the sauce mic right now.
Oh, good idea. Very good idea. Be careful over there. I don't really know what goes on over there in the morning. I think they've been fully staffed, so yeah, he hasn't been moving. He's been sitting there for a while. How's it look over there?
Hello, hello, hello. Is there any echo at all?
And I can't tell if that sounds good or bad.
I think this sounds worse in my headset than it was in the anchor chair.
Yeah, back off it a little bit.
Like here?
Maybe not that far.
Here?
That's a good middle ground. Let's try that.
All right.
Maybe so I'll probably get to like 3 things here. Maybe you should just go around the world in the room. Just go on that mic for the first one.
We got 4 mics total in here, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Should I just go to another room in the studio entirely?
Maybe come back to Halvey's room back here?
Yeah, go to like News Talk 11:30 or something?
You could do that.
Yeah, there's room there.
There's room, unfortunately.
It's unfortunate.
Is there room for Napheesa Collier in the best team in the WNBA starting lineup? Well, today, for the first time all season, there was. She returned from the off-season ankle injuries and the surgeries for the first time this season. Was on a minutes restriction. They made the announcement last night that she was going to come back today, the last game before the All-Star game break. 22 minutes was the minute restriction. Didn't matter. 24 points on 9 of 20 shooting. Made a couple of threes.
Yeah, she could pass every once in a while. Would that be okay?
One assist.
One only?
Yeah, 1 assist.
Funny.
10 rebounds. She joined 4 Lynx players in double figures. Kayla McBride stayed hot. Actually kind of cooled off for her. Made 3 3-pointers, scored 20 points in 36 minutes. Olivia Miles with 13 points, 3 rebounds, and 6 assists. The Lynx won another game. They beat Seattle the other night. They beat Seattle this afternoon, 86-76. Go into the break, 22-6.
How many All-Stars do we have?
The season. Well, it's Olivia and Natasha are starters.
Okay.
I got to see. I don't know if they added any. Was Courtney Williams on the team as a reserve?
Who are the starters?
Natasha Howard and Olivia Miles. Hang on.
What about McBride?
Hang on.
Okay. No factor? That's bulletin board material.
Hang on. Let me pull up the roster here.
See what we got. Where is is it in Indy?
It should be, but it's not. Oh. It's in Chicago.
Dang it.
Okay, we've got
the old Chicago Stadium. Great place for an All-Star game.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, just the 3. Courtney Williams.
Interesting.
Is an All-Star starter. Cheryl is one of the coaches.
Of course.
And so that's coming up this weekend. And nobody wants to do the 3-point contest. McBride said no. Caitlin Clark, I think, said no. Everybody wanted out. But the Lynx get the victory.
What's the problem?
I don't know. They don't want to do it.
Okay.
They don't want to do it. So now you would imagine she is... It's an interesting time to come back.
Do we have a dunk contest in the Women's All-Star Game weekend?
No, they do like a skills challenge.
Okay.
They do some other stuff.
All right.
But we are 2.5 games clear of everybody else in the WNBA entering the break. The Las Vegas Aces and Golden State Valkyrie are the 2 and 3. Dallas with Paige Beckers, they're in the 4 spot at 17-9. But the Lynx have won 7 in a row now going into the break.
Yeah. You know what? Just like with the Twins, break's happening at the wrong time. We're awfully hot. Of course, the Lynx might have a better chance to stay hot.
Speaking of the Twins, they lost last night 5-2. So after coming back and turning in a nice victory on the Friday night in Chicago.
We haven't won since.
The day that we talked to Coondog, no, they've lost 4 in a row for Boudreaux. They lost the last 2 in Chicago and have lost the first 2 of 4 in Cleveland. It is game 3 of a 4-game set, as I mentioned tonight. Your guy, Bailey Ober, on the mound. He's 7-3 on the year. Maybe he could be the stopper.
Somebody's got to stop the bleeding here pretty quick.
And the first pitch from Cleveland about a half an hour from now.
Yeah. Well, part of it is, of course, we've had the greatest offense ever, and now reality might be setting in there that it made no sense that offense was producing the way it was. And, I don't think our starting pitching is anything to write home about either right now, but we were counting on 5, 6, 7 runs a game. And I don't think we've gotten that much. The first night, did we score 5 and win? I can't remember.
I think it was 5-2.
But I don't think we've had much offensive explosion since.
You know what today is? I'll remind you. I think we might talk about it with Kessler.
The stories the stadium could
Definitely
tell.
going to get to it with him.
The 10-year anniversary of the People's Stadium.
Yeah.
It's already 10 years old.
Man, that's crazy.
Which is hard to believe. But I bring it up because
this is the actual date that it was allegedly, okay, we're done. It's officially done.
It's open. I think it might have been the first event that was in there.
And do we have the anniversary of when we killed the first bird?
I wondered if that. I had an over-under. I did a
same day?
DraftKings prop bet. Well, I think it was before that because the structure.
Oh, you're right. The structure was up.
The outside structure was finished well before you do the interior.
And we hadn't made that roof change yet.
Exactly. I bring it up because the Kansas City Chiefs unveiled today the first renderings for their new ballpark, their new stadium in Kansas, if you remember.
Yeah, that's right.
What's the price tag on the Kansas City Chiefs stadium?
What was our price? $1.2 billion?
Yeah, we were 1.2. SoFi, I think, was 5 out in L.A.
Everything's more expensive out there. I'm going to say the new KC state-of-the-art facility. Is it got a roof on it? Is it retractable?
It's a great question.
Do we even know? I bet you it's not.
It has a roof.
Oh.
But the outside looks almost exactly like Arrowhead, which had a very distinct look. But they basically did Arrowhead and put a roof over it.
I'm going to say $4 billion.
You're $1 billion off. It's $3 billion.
Oh, that's a bargain.
Fully enclosed dome.
That's the Midwest for you.
It will feature a ceiling of translucent. Let's see if I can even do this. This is off the reading conversation we just had. Translucent ethylene tetrafluoroethylene panels, which means they're clear.
It sounds toxic is what it sounds like.
You can see. So it's kind of like U.S. Bank, where some days if you're in there and you're on the sunny side of U.S. Bank, it feels like you're outside.
You can get a suntan.
But anyway, it costs $1.8 billion more than ours, 70,000 seats. So,
how many seats do we have? Do we remember?
I think it's like 68.
Okay.
I think it's like 68.
We're not expanding it or anything, are we? We're not going to.
I don't think
it is what it is.
I mean, you could maybe add some seats in one of the end zones, but I don't know where you would add seats. I really don't.
Yeah, stories the stadium could tell. There's a bunch of them.
10 years, man.
Well, we'll get into this maybe in more depth with Kessler, but I heard Cronin the other day on ESPN fueling the conspiracy theory about the last time the dome roof collapsed.
Yeah.
And there was a camera strategically inside that documented all of it. And, of course, the conspiracy theory was it was all a Lester Bagley inside job.
Yep.
To make sure that, okay, do we have your attention yet? We can't keep putting off building this new ballpark. So she was perpetuating it even at this late date, 10 years later nationally, just last week or 2 weeks ago.
The stories a stadium could tell.
I can't, disprove it.
Speaking of conspiracies.
It definitely worked to their advantage, did it not?
It did. Yeah. Once the old building doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
It makes it a lot easier.
And you have the actual video footage of the thing, the roof, the snow coming in, a hole in the roof, and the whole thing kind of coming down. It's like, whoa, that looks bad.
Speaking of conspiracies, the Miami Heat posted a link to a scheduled live stream. The title, LeBron James Introductory Press Conference, followed by a date, which is July 27th, so 5 days from now, to its YouTube channel. A team spokesperson said it was a mistake. Spokesperson told ESPN's Shams Charania
today. They blamed it on an intern, didn't they?
The club's social media department was preparing for the possibility of James signing and mistakenly posted the link to the team's YouTube page. So the post was later deleted.
Is anybody buying that? Or is anybody taking it as we now know exactly 100% where he's going to end up? I mean, how'd Shams write about it? Did he say it's not a done deal? Or did he say, come on, boys and girls, that means it's Miami?
I'm looking at the story. I don't know if he's tweeted about it or not. But I go back and forth on it because, Johnny said, 2 weeks ago that he already had the LeBron's coming to Minnesota story and LeBron's not coming to Minnesota story written. You know how that goes, especially now in the digital age. Right. You've got to have it ready to hit send. All these guys have their stories ready to go.
It's possible you could be doing just let's prep. On the other hand, I think
to have that date so specific,
that's the issue, and that's one of the most likely places for him to go. I mean, it's that combination. of things, I think, that make it unlikely to think that was just some kind of an accident. So if they're right, that's what will be interesting.
Right.
Is it possible now they'll change the date even if it was a test because they don't want it to be the day that this intern had set the thing up as,
exactly,
which was
right.
going to be Monday, right? This coming Monday.
That would be the 27th. You're right.
27th.
You're
yeah,
right.
Exactly.
FanandBigDeck.com. Want to give you a shot.
Hold on a second.
What do you
got? Come on.
What are we doing?
The Johnny Nugget.
What's the Johnny
me?
Nugget?
Do you have any Maurice Chevalier music?
Who's that?
He's an old style, long gone French singer who was very successful back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Yeah, I do
he
like
had the
this
song "Thank Heaven for Little Girls."
Is that an appropriate song?
Well, yeah, I don't think it's anything
Did it age
pornographic.
well?
Yeah, I think it's fine. But or if you want to just get some like French music, Maurice Chevalier is the first name that came to me, and that's that's pretty ancient, but that's the best I could do because he's saying in the ongoing effort to show how serious we are about putting things together at 600 First Avenue, Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball are flying to Gay Paris to go work out, practice, bond with Rudy Gobert.
I love it.
Oh,
I think it's great.
It's outstanding. It's an interesting. I had not heard anything about it, and I think Johnny's either tweeted about it or podcasted about it, whatever the case may be.
On the John Krasinski show.
That's the plan. And obviously, half the time, what do they have to be doing? Figuring out the lob, right? The lob, largely one would think from LaMelo to Rudy, right? We have to perfect the lob, get the timing down on the lob. Where do you like the ball, Rudy? Where should I be? How do we work this out where we don't even have to look at each other and I know that you know that I'm about to lob the ball in position for you to do one thing with it, dunk it, if that is you can hold on to the ball.
I love that they're doing this.
Yes, absolutely.
I just think it's a great Ubuntu.
Well, here's the thing, though. If you want to be a cynic, you say, it's Gay Paris, man. It's a great vacation destination.
Yeah, of course.
They're just going to hang out in Paris, and maybe they'll practice or bond with Rudy like once in 2 weeks.
And then just go get like baguettes and stuff?
Yeah, exactly. They just run around with baguettes.
Check out.
Put the berets on, the whole bit.
Ride around on those bikes with the bread tray in front.
You know, go to
Eiffel Tower.
Tour the Eiffel Tower.
Well, I mean,
the Arc de Triomphe.
Ant's probably got some pretty good memories from Paris from the Olympics. They need to take a picture on those steps that the gold medal that all the Team USA did. Good. That famous picture. They need to do that.
Do you think they'll hang out in the Louvre?
They could.
Greatest art gallery ever made.
Have you been there?
I've never been there. I've flown to Paris, but never stayed in Paris. I was connecting.
We'll always have Paris.
By train to, where was the Winter Olympics? Albertville.
Oh, Albertville.
Albertville, yeah, that year.
Well, maybe we should go with Ant and LaMelo.
There you go.
That would be a good story.
Do a couple shows from there, yeah.
I would do that.
Ant would have to light it up, though, I think, in terms of the interviews. Because LaMelo, man of few words, as we've already learned.
That's true.
Yeah.
Money now?
You think they'll get tattoos? Is it possible Ant, Rudy, and LaMelo will all get matching tattoos on their buttocks wherever?
That'd be adorbs.
Yeah, that'd be cool, wouldn't it?
That would be adorbs.
Go ahead.
I hope they do. TheFanandBigDeck.com, they want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks. It is our national cash contest. The keyword, the final one of the evening tonight, is preset. Go to KFAN.com and enter the keyword preset.
This is Bumper to Bumper with Dan Barrero on the...
I couldn't handle it. I went back to the mothership chair, I guess you could say, the main chair where the hosts of any given show, I think, we're all in the same spot because this is where all the consoles are set up. It's interesting reading the text, though. Some people thought it sounded better in the sauce chair. Other people thought it sounded worse. So I think it's all becoming a bit of a bit.
It's very polarizing.
At this point, and like everything else, it's extremely polarizing. And I don't know how many of those individuals suffer from FDS, fan derangement syndrome. Let me get to a couple of texts here. I should have started. I'm the idiot. Why didn't I star it?
You were sitting in the wrong chair.
I was sitting in the wrong chair, 100% right. Here's a good example of where this sounds easy, but I don't think it is. We can have reasonable, 651 guy, reasonable discourse on many things. The issue is when one side wants to eradicate a large group of my friends and strip away their rights, there can be no middle ground on basic human rights. I think most people would agree with that, but the devil is always going to be in the details about exactly what you mean about that. I'll get the best example I can give you because it's being debated again now. Who is the second most famous player on the Fever after Caitlin Clark?
Sophie Cunningham.
Sophie Cunningham's got a piece via,
ESPN.
ESPN.
I read it this morning.
Standing tall on behalf of basically saying, I don't want girls to have to play against boys or men, again, depending on the age, as in
trans players.
Exactly. Transgender. And there are people, and because there are people who have already reacted to her, and they're saying they could say exactly what this guy said. There's no middle ground. That's a basic human right that Sophie Cunningham is trying to take away from that individual. And I would say, I think it's a little grayer than that, as we've talked about on this show, pertaining to fairness in participation in a given sport. But someone else could read that as basic human right. No middle ground on that. There is no wiggle room on that. And that's why, as good as that text sounded, and I think most of us would agree on most of it, I think it ends up being a little bit more complicated than that. And it's a way that people try to take away the opportunity for others to come up with a different opinion on that issue. Because I think there can be differences of opinion on that very issue. And I've heard from some of those same individuals when we've talked about it before. You're transphobic. So it sounds good what that text said, but it on some cases, the way some people, I think, read this stuff, they're in effect saying you're not allowed to have that position. That position should be excised from the discussion. And I didn't read the whole piece. I don't know how persuasive it was. I don't know what her tone was. How would you describe it?
Yeah, it was, first of all, it was a very small portion of the story in general. It's probably what you would call a takeout. To go back to what you were saying earlier. Mm-hmm. And how did she say it? I shouldn't. I'm trying to remember if I can remember exactly.
Yeah, it's dangerous because if you don't want to paraphrase,
yeah, I don't want to paraphrase it as much, but it basically was her thinking is I'm defending, girls and women. I don't hate anybody. I'm not hating anybody.
Right.
Essentially that part of it. So it wasn't. And again, it wasn't certainly wasn't the focus of the piece. It was kind of thrown in there.
Well, for the record, here's another text. I'm streaming on iHeartRadio. I didn't notice. Oh, no, that's not the one I'm looking for. It's the sauce one. Hold on. Where did it go?
Sauce.
And it was not a cheap shot on Sauce in this case. No FDS here. Sauce's mic sounded worse, but it didn't have that weird reverb sound. I do think, if my sources are right, that the microphone where whoever's anchoring on a given day sits is a microphone worth about $1 million, and then the other mics in this room are each worth $250,000.
Is that right?
Yeah. So this is supposed to be the one,
the best.
So I'm not surprised that at least even without the reverb, the other one that we were at didn't sound quite as good because I don't think it's as expensive. Now that's the irony of the difficulty we're having with this one.
That's interesting. They all look the same.
Oh, they do?
All the microphones.
Well, maybe I'm the idiot.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just what I want to believe.
I was going to say, yeah.
I could have something to do with it, too.
Yes, there's more money sitting in that chair typically than in any other chair. I don't know if it's gone up to the microphone or not. You get better chairs, too? What is going on over there? Now I'm going to start looking. Is that chair nicer than this chair?
Well, here's the other thing. There's a debate that's broken out. I like a different chair than Common does.
Yeah.
Abbott's bitter that he thinks there's, in general, too many chairs here, and these aren't part of the new universal remodeled look.
Yeah.
So he wants all of these out. But it's you don't have to sit here for 3.5 hours.
You got to get in the trenches, man, if you're going to make those calls.
I don't want this. I feel like I almost need to, take this chair home to be sure it doesn't get removed. That's what I'm worried about right now.
You can't put it in a locker.
Because there's one to my left, the black one, that's the one he likes. And I don't know, early in the day, I have no idea what PA likes.
Right.
Maybe he likes them all. And you know what we didn't do, and what we're going to do with Kessler? Well, maybe we won't hardly cover any politics today because, first of all, it's FDS. Secondly, I promised the Gopher listeners we were going to talk some Gophers today because they had their they're like in-house media day.
Yep.
I assume you were there for that?
Oh, no, I was not.
Oh, I guess you don't have to be, technically. That's true, because it's like, what are you going to do?
I'm going
PA
to
was
Chicago
on the air.
next week.
Yeah, that's true.
We were there last year. Grim and I did it. PA was gone,
right.
So we hosted last year.
All right, well, then maybe we'll try to mix in a little Gopher talk because, as you know, Kessler pretends to be a Gopher fan.
He used to be a big fan.
Here's the interesting thing that I'm going to call Kessler on. He pretends to be a PJ Obo. I actually think he was much more interested in this program when Jerry Kill was coaching. I'm not saying he's disinterested, but I don't think he has got the same level of intensity anymore. I just don't.
You look at his travel log, I think I would agree with that.
100% true.
Yeah, and his Jerry Soda shirt.
For sure. All right. Let's make this the bottom of the hour pause. 64686 is the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. Lots to get to with Special K, Pat Kessler. We'll find out if he cracked the code, if he got a CNN subscription, because they've got a very, I'm told, well-reported, hard-hitting piece that attempts to do the long reporting view on the disastrous ice surge here that ended, unfortunately, in 2 deaths, 2 killings, and eventually, believe it or not, relatively speaking, I think the Trump administration with their tail between their legs. Unfortunately, they've gone to other places, and there's been more trouble as well, but certainly not what we had here for a significant period of time. Stay tuned.
You are listening.
I wish the American media would take a great look at the views of the people in Congress and find out, are they pro-America or anti-America?
Pat Kessler.
Because people have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook.
I can't trust Obama. He's an Arab.
Pat Kessler.
Tear down this wall.
I did nothing wrong at the Minneapolis airport.
Senator, you're no Jack Kennedy.
Pat Kessler.
And now, to help Dan break down all the tough questions in politics, it's our own
Pat Kessler.
Political Wonk.
I feel like a supermodel, except like times 10.
It's Channel 4's
Pat Kessler.
with Dan Barrero on the Fan.
What do you mean?
I traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
Frank Gav.
I hold in my hands an envelope with a message inside that reads as follows. Since opening our doors 10 years ago, we have welcomed more than 11.4 million visitors across nearly 2,200 events. Minnesotans have shared many celebrations, memorable events, and unique experiences at U.S. Bank Stadium over the last decade. To celebrate, we are kicking off 10 days of giveaways on our social media accounts at U.S. Bank Stadium. Each day, we'll offer a new chance for fans to enter to win incredible prizes, including tickets to upcoming events at U.S. Bank Stadium. Your friends at U.S. Bank Stadium, I think they sent us a bunch of donuts. This is it.
The stories a stadium
I just had some.
Did you
They're
have
all
some?
purple. I went back there and I kind of pilfered a little bit.
Did you already find those?
I did.
See, I was going to do a dramatic reveil and give you your own donuts. I should have known you already found them.
Well, I went back there just to get some water.
Of course.
And then, I went in there and I cut it up. But then, I got nervous. Like maybe there's somebody else's. So I checked to see if there are security cameras in there.
There are. They're probably not.
And there are. And now. Yeah, I think 10 years
today
is
the anniversary.
Remarkable achievement.
I think that was an open house 10 years ago today. Dan Minnesota's bitter because he thinks he was sleeping on the job. He didn't have this on the calendar because he was waiting for like the first actual event. But technically today is considered the birthday.
Sorry,
now here's what struck me.
Yes.
Here's what struck me, and he sent me this story.
He's so good.
Skoll Stadium officially opens. And there's a photo Basically, it's one of those cutting the ribbon ceremony nonsense things.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Here's what you have to explain to me.
Mm-hmm.
I see in the photo Ziggy Wilf.
Mm-hmm.
I see Mark Wilf. I see Governor Mark Dayton. And I see Michelle Kelm Helgen.
Mm-hmm.
And I see you. How in the hell did you get into the picture? What the hell are you doing? Although, by all rights, you should have been.
I should have been in.
Because you probably were as more instrumental than they were at getting this thing to the finish line.
This was like Trump trying to get into the World Cup presentation.
Pretty close.
That is so good.
Pretty close.
I mean, because it was a very important day in my life, and I tried.
Were you at that ceremony? Do you remember?
I must have been.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Actually, you're not in the photo, but you probably could have been.
But if I was, then I would have been.
Is this you wearing the Helga horns with the face paint? Oh, no, that's Sid Davey. That's 100% cheese-free guy.
Well, I mean, what a remarkable achievement, this U.S. Bank Stadium. I mean, can you just set aside your skepticism and your cynicism?
You make it sound like it's, like I said, it's like the Eiffel Tower, like it's a work of art. It's a stadium. It's a pretty one. Mm-hmm. It's a well done one.
It's beautiful.
It's been an effective one. We've already paid for it. Like, isn't it been paid off like 5 years?
Yeah, 2.5 times we paid for it, and it's still going. Think about the struggle we went through in this state.
Yeah.
In order,
passengers sucked partly out of planes.
For God's sakes!
Where's this stuff? Is this NBC Nightly News, or is this like some sort of like tabloid thing? What are we doing here?
All right. So
when did that happen?
So we're here in the studio to our listeners just to let them know what's going on.
Yeah, from all over the country.
So there is a huge television monitoring.
Yeah, there is. It's massive.
And normally, I mean, don't we have like a 4-screen? It's split in 4.
It can be.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
And you've got sports things because you got to stay up on all the sports. But I guess when I come in,
yeah, it all changes.
You've got
it all changes.
Like Home Shopping Network.
I took you off your game. Go ahead. You were about to.
I have no idea what I was going to say.
How are the donuts that they sent? Were they good? At least I didn't have any.
Well, were they flavored or glazed or jelly filled?
What color are they?
Purple.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
And they have some like Rice Krispie ones or Fruit Loop ones.
Do you know how many people have touched those donuts before you?
I know that's what I'm always careful about.
Because a lot of people, they don't eat them, but they touch them. They just want to feel them.
No, people don't touch them.
Oh, God, yes. Around here, yeah.
They don't touch them and then not. That's like double dipping with a potato chip.
I agree with you. Oh, no, that's you.
Oh.
At the sample at Kowalski's, taking one sample and then putting it back after you touched it and grabbing another one that you thought looked better.
It was bigger. That was one of several fights I got into.
Yes, you've had a few adventures.
Yeah,
or misadventures.
In just a month or so.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, but I think we need to take a step back.
We do?
And say congratulations to ourselves for building this really cool place.
This edifice.
Am I wrong?
Well, I'll grant you it's been successful.
Well, I mean, it's also architecturally significant. It's something that we can use for many different venues. Have they had the big truck mud
monster
deals?
truck pull? I assume they've had some
that
there. I
yes,
don't know.
They have.
Yeah.
Yes, they've had the X Games. I don't know if you guys brought that up. They've had everything.
Yeah, so why
concerts?
Not? No, I have. Now, I hope they're improving the sound in the concerts because I've been to several that
you've been very displeased with that.
Yeah,
Taylor Swift sounded great. What did you think?
Wow, that hurts.
You weren't at the Taylor Swift concert?
That knife went in so fast.
You weren't in the suite for that?
It almost felt good.
What do you make of this text? 612 guy. We need Kessler as director of the MSFC. That's the Minnesota Sports Facilities Commission, right? I started at the Metrodome June of 1998 to all the way to 2014.
Yeah.
Spent 2.5 years building U.S. Bank. Was 30 yards from Jermaine Gruber when he passed, rest in peace. Worked there till COVID. Then they didn't bring me back. Ted Mondale's brother-in-law was handed a job and is still there. We need to get rid of ASM Global and have MSFA run it again. We need Kessler. So somebody who's got a gripe with something called ASM Global.
Yeah.
Do they run it? No.
Well, that must be the entertainment organization that is associated with it, and I really don't know.
Well, didn't we mention to you that there was an opening to be the director? We thought you should apply for the job, and you never did.
Did you apply for me?
No, we could have done that, I guess.
So
we could have written you in.
So I have traveled, of course, to many different venues. This is a cool one. I mean, what is better? I mean, you got Wrigley Field. I'm not comparing this to that.
That's different. Those are that's a ballpark.
I know. But let's talk about
stick
football.
with the football.
Let's talk about football. I mean,
the LA one's better.
No,
that's what a lot of people think.
SoFi?
No way. You've been there
a couple of times.
Yeah. So three times. But do you like this one because it's here? Or do you like this one?
I think this has a lot more personality. Okay. It's a lot better looking. It's got a lot more features to it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about SoFi, which is a great stadium. Outside, it looks beautiful, modern.
It looks pretty nice.
Like Frank Gehry-like, mid-century modern.
It's like built out of the ground, right? So it's all down,
Eero Saarinen. Right. That's what it looks like.
And it's very green.
And it's cool. It really is cool. But they don't have the legacy that the Vikes have inside U.S. Bank Stadium because it's shared by two teams. Yeah. So depending on what game you go to, that's what you see there. So it's kind of interchangeable. No, I thought it's a very nice stadium, no doubt about it, but not as nice as ours. And Prince's halftime show is the best of any halftime show.
The stories a stadium could tell.
Well, because I'm just talking about how great we are. I understand about how great we are here in Minnesota. That's all I'm saying. By extension.
So 11.4 million visitors, including 6 people where Ziggy didn't get paid. What does that mean? I don't get the bit. What's the rip? Including 6 people where Ziggy didn't get paid. He's saying, Ziggy, I mean, is he saying he gets paid for too much other stuff?
There must be some story that I have now forgotten.
Conveniently, I would say in your case.
You are so bad.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, come on now.
Do you have a CNN subscription, CNN.com subscription?
I do not, and it's very annoying.
You're not doing your job.
Well,
because I needed you to get the story. They've written a major investigative piece that was going to be on this afternoon about the Metro surge here.
If you will allow me to complete my thought.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I would.
Okay.
Yes, I listened to the whole thing.
Oh, the documentary?
It's not documentary. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you did good.
I got you covered, man. Okay. But with the CNN...
It's a Tapper production, I think, right?
It
premiered on his show. Yeah.
It's their investigative unit.
Yes.
And it's, I believe it's called 18 Days in January. Mm-hmm. And it is a recounting with some new information about those 18 days. And for all of us who lived through the occupation of Minneapolis by federal troops, it was shocking when you think back on how bad it was, but also how uplifting it was with the protests and I think you could say helping to change the Trump administration's mind to get out. But basically, the 18 days in January span the days in which Rene Good was killed, the Venezuelans were shot, Alex Preddy was killed, there were mass protests all over the city. And it uncovers a couple of new things, so including...
Well, let me stop you there. I want to play a bit of audio to sort of help illustrate this thing.
You bet.
This audio, this is Tapper speaking with former federal prosecutor Tom Calhoun Lopez. And he explains why he chose to resign from the Minnesota U.S. Attorney's Office after the killing of Rene Good, January 2026. Let's listen to Tapper and Tom Calhoun Lopez.
Beginning in December, the administration had an unprecedented wave of immigration enforcements in the city, in the Twin Cities. But Operation Metro Surge was different. From the beginning, it was conducted in a paramilitary posture. Hundreds of agents were flooding in from out of district. They weren't familiar with Minnesota communities. They were heavily armed. They were in masks. They patrolled in combat gear. And their ethos was of a military occupying force. Their mission seemed to be to subdue the state and to bring it to heel.
You know from occupation because you're a veteran.
That's correct. I deployed to Iraq twice, once as a field artillery officer and once as an Army judge advocate.
And it reminded you of that kind of occupation?
It did. Through 2 different deployments, I got to see what a military occupation looked like. And unfortunately, Operation Metro Surge had all the hallmarks of a military occupation.
There it is.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. He is one of the attorneys who resigned from the U.S. Attorney's Office after being ordered not to investigate what happened with the shooting of Renee Good, but to investigate Renee Good as a domestic terrorist and her partner, spouse, right? Yeah. Her partner. And this was immoral and unethical and possibly illegal to many of the U.S. attorneys in the office. 5 of them resigned, and these are the top prosecutors in the office as
including Joe Thompson, right?
Including Joe Thompson.
Now, is he interviewed in this? Do you know?
Not what I heard.
Not what you saw.
Yeah,
okay.
Not what I saw and heard and read. However, the 5 resigned in protest because they were being ordered to do investigations they thought were not proper.
They were being
followed
ordered
by 8 more attorneys a week later who retired.
They were being ordered to do the president's bidding. That's what this amounts to.
And here is what they were ordered to do and investigate, as we said, Renee Good and her partner as domestic terrorists and dig up dirt on them. Here is what the story alleges and asserts, that this is Todd Blanche, and he was the deputy director of the Attorney General's office, and it was out of his office that all of these orders came, where initially the federal government was going to work together with state authorities to investigate the death of Renee Good, and they were exchanging information. It was Todd Blanche and or his office, the story says, that ordered them to stop cooperating, to claw back the search warrants, to not do any more cooperation with them. And the question is, did he himself order it, and how deeply involved was he in painting the Minnesotans as domestic terrorists and assassins and people who are out to massacre ICE agents? So it raises a lot of questions in that part of it also, because Todd Blanche is right in the middle of being going through hearings to be confirmed as the United States Attorney General. And this raises many, many questions about how deeply was he involved here in Minneapolis. The story also asserts that Greg Bovino, the head of ICE, who wore what's described as a Nazi-like long coat in the cold weather of Minnesota, he was sent here to incite protesters to violence, and then if he could provoke them to this, then the government would be able to send in troops to quell the rioters, and that didn't happen in Minnesota. So those are some of the allegations, charges that are made in new information in this Jake Tapper piece.
I think a significant part of it, as I understand it, you've seen it or a lot of it, but what I've read about it is that they were able to get, in a couple cases, on-camera interviews, but in other cases it was more they got access to people who worked in that office. Part of their reporting is what they heard from those individuals. And so it's
very
an attempt.
much so.
Look, a lot of this stuff you could say we already kind of knew, but this is an attempt to take a longer, tougher, more nuanced view based on what we now know, now that it feels like it's in the past tense, to just, okay, what the hell happened? Let's go back and let's talk to as many of the principals as we can, and let's lay this thing out sequentially, which it sounds like they've done pretty well.
Yeah, so let's put a pin in this, that we are now exactly 6 months from the killing of Alex Preddy.
6 months?
It's
wow.
6 months.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
So I think it's today or yesterday. I mean, this is 6 months now. And in that 6 months, after the death of Alex Preddy and Renee Good, there are no charges 6 months later against any of the people who participated, any of the agents participating. And I should also point out, there's no vindication either. There is no investigation underway into what happened here in Minneapolis. So what are we supposed to do here as United States citizens? Don't tread on me, right, people of Minnesota, when we got tread on pretty heavily by an occupying force a military force, in many cases unidentified, with no badges, no identifying marks, just pulling out of vans with automatic weapons. So it's good to stop and take a deep breath and say, what happened here, and why doesn't anybody know anymore?
All right, you have on your list some interesting, fairly new poll results, I think, to get to regarding several, well, I guess you could say state and national races involving the Senate race, Attorney General, etc., Governor. What do we need to know about these? Where are these new numbers from, and what do they mean?
Well, this is a KSTP television poll, Survey USA, and I found it to be, if not shocking, certainly eye-opening, particularly in the Republican race for governor. Your guy, Mike Lindell, is leading all GOP governor candidates 3 weeks before the primary, and it's not even close. He has grown in his lead by 8 points since Donald Trump endorsed him a week ago. And you and I talked about this, that was the speculation that once he endorsed him, that he might actually take off. And as it happened, President Trump, before he jumped into the World Cup celebration and refused to leave, which I think is hilarious, he held a fundraiser for Mike Lindell at Bedminster in New Jersey on Friday night before the Saturday or Sunday game. And
did they have a pillow fight?
Oh, my God, that would be so great. Can you imagine?
A pillow fight.
Can you imagine the headlines now? It's a pillow fight.
It's a pillow fight. Yeah.
It's a pillow fight.
Well, he didn't call him My Pillow. He called him Mr.
him Pillow Man.
Pillow Man. That's right. It's
Pillow Man. Pillow Man. Well, here's the numbers. Mike Lindell, 35%. Lisa Dameth, the Speaker of the Minnesota House, 26%.
Does she have a pillow? No.
Think about it.
She ain't got no pillow.
And then Kendall Qualls, this guy, businessman who has been trying to do this for a couple, 3 years, he's the endorsed candidate of the Republicans.
Yes.
And he's at 11%. So, this is very disconcerting for Minnesota Republicans. Why bother have an endorsement, by the way? Right. Their Senate candidate is, you got to use binoculars to see his numbers. We call them chicken scratches in the poll business. So why bother have an endorsement? Because Lindell could easily pull this off. So I just want to tell people that the primary election is August 11th. So we're 3 weeks away.
It's not that far off.
3 weeks away.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a sleepy summer. People are at the lake. You got to come home. People are voting early already, but Mike Lindell has built up quite a lead. So if he wins this, he will go up against Amy Klobuchar, where the polling is not quite as favorable to him.
For him, yeah.
And not only did Trump endorse him, by the way, at his fundraiser, he had some, of course, he couldn't help ripping Lisa Dameth. Well, I hear she's not very good. People say she's
Do you think he's
not
ever
supposed
even
to
heard of her?
No,
No.
Yeah. No, but let's all remember that Mike Lindell is the most vocal election denier that President Trump has. In the days after January 6th, he was even before, he was in the White House meeting with President Trump, and we probably remember the pictures of him coming out. He was urging him to do a number of things. He was at the meeting where they urged him to seize the voting machines. Anyway, he's walking out of the Oval Office, and you can see his notes, and on it in Sharpie, it says martial law. Yeah. It's like, what?
Yeah.
So this is now front and center in the governor's race. That is going to be a very, very big deal. So,
what about U.S. Senate?
And can I say one more thing?
Sure.
All the stories are coming. People are dumping their opposition research now. And in the last few days, here are the stories about Mike Lindell. He doesn't live in Minnesota, so he's got to get back here, skedaddle back here pretty quick. He is not registered to vote here in Minnesota, but, because we have such fraudulent rigged voting here, he can do same-day registration if he wants. And he's 48. Sarcasm. Is there a font for sarcasm?
Not really.
$48,000 behind on his property taxes here in Minnesota. So there's a lot of material to work with in the election. But it's going to be popcorn front seat. Watch this happen unfold.
Is it limo, U.S. Senate side of it? Michelle Tafoya?
Tafoya has built up a tremendous lead. Now, you and I talked about her even before she was in the race. We didn't know if she was going to run for governor or U.S. Senate, but formidable candidate, the most serious, formidable candidate that the Republicans have had statewide, I'm going to say in 20 years. She has a huge campaign war chest, $2.6 million, more than many of the other candidates combined. And she is leading in the polls. I'm going to look for the numbers here. So she is leading in the polls. I don't have them right in front of me at the moment.
Here,
there it is.
You found them?
Yes.
I think you sent them to me.
I did, yes. So Michelle Tafoya is at 41%.
Yeah.
Your guy, Royce White, 10%.
Wow.
And then again, the endorsed candidate for the Republicans, Adam Schwarzy, at 5%. So that race is pretty much over. So she's winning on so many different levels, but the KSTP poll shows, and she's running on fraud, and a lot of people are concerned about fraud. But the number one issue that Minnesota voters seem to care about is inflation and the cost of living, affordability. And that is by far and away the number one thing. Immigration way down, healthcare way down, Iran way down. They care about cost of living. And in Minnesota specifically, they're going to care about fraud, and that is going to be a big issue in the campaign.
All right, let's get to a top-of-the-hour break. I want to talk a little of what you remember of the Arne Carlson years, and then he was obviously, as you know, in studio yesterday, and then we'll get to a couple other things on your list if we have time. It's Special K, Pat Kessler, in studio celebrating the 10-year birthday, I guess you could say, when it became official 10 years ago.
The stories a stadium could tell.
The new stadium is up. The People's Stadium is up. And without any question, if they were giving percentages, Kessler would have at least 10 to 15%. And given how much money they've made in there, you'd be in pretty good shape. You would
show me the money.
Buy your own donuts.
And you can get your own donuts, exactly. And for all of us.
Bumper to Bumper with Dan Barrera.
In studio. What are you doing right now? You've got your
going through my
essay notes thing. That's like a blue book kind of looking thing from college.
That is.
Except it's yellow instead of blue.
I carry this with me. It's like a journal.
Okay.
Today I'm going to see Dan and Gaardsy.
And I'm going to eat a couple of donuts.
And
of course, you didn't know that at the time.
If there are donuts, if there's anything free there, I will take it or eat it.
So give me, when did you start covering politics locally?
Boy, that would be,
what year?
That would be in the, I can't give you the year, but in the 80s.
Yeah.
You know.
I thought it was like the 60s.
Time has drawn a misty curtain.
So here, we happen to have some of those.
The vice president said unemployment claims are dropping, housing starts are rising, and the auto industry is recovering. He said Reagan's criticism of the Carter administration's jobs policy isn't credible. The administration, he said, is responsible for 8 million jobs in the last 3.5 years.
Who got to you and said, stop it?
I am your guest.
Speak. Just talk as if you're just a normal human being.
I am your guest.
You're not on TV.
You know.
Even though you're on a TV.
Am I blushing right now?
A little bit, yeah.
Mondale began his day with reporters answering questions on a wide range of topics, from nuclear arms reduction to energy.
It's almost cruel.
You know, in the studio, by the way, you know, you have an echo in the studio.
Yeah, so we're told.
And so I think that you put this through the studio.
The chamber. I see.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
It wasn't like that in its raw form.
So I covered Arne Carlson when he ran for state auditor against, believe it or not, Paul Wellstone. Back
This is
in the
Pat
80s.
Kessler reporting.
Just stop.
All right, I'm done.
This was after. So
Okay,
this was
one more.
after he'd been a rep by then already, hadn't he? Wasn't he a state rep before he was auditor?
Yeah. And
Well,
he was sorry, I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
So he ran for, he was in city council
and then lost the mayoral race.
Yeah,
he talked about that yesterday.
To Art Naftalin.
Yeah.
And then he was running for auditor.
It was auditor.
Yeah,
next.
ran for auditor.
Okay.
But here's the deal. He was really different in that Republicans were a little bit different. The Dave Durenberger type, the Nelson Rockefeller nationally, much more moderate than the Republican Party is today. And in fairness, the Democratic Party was much more moderate than it is today. So that's the way it is. And Arne, I did hear him, and it was delightful.
Yeah, it was fun. It was great having him.
Yeah, he's really
he's
something.
almost 92 years old, Kessler.
I was shocked. I'm shocked to hear that. I mean, I knew he was, but
he took an Uber here.
I can't even.
I told Gaardsy.
I can't even.
Originally,
take an Uber.
he said, "Look, I don't." I had said, "Hey, it'd be great to get you in studio," and he texted back, "Look, I got a lunch, and I don't drive anymore." I said, "Don't worry about driving. I'll get you carry a limo." I did. I said because I was willing. I'll just take care of it. And then he texted like a half hour back later, and he says, "No, I'll come in. You tell me what hour. I'll just Uber." I said, "You sure?" I said, "Yeah." So he Ubered. He got here. I mean, I gave him the address.
And you're like, "You're sure? You're 92. Are you sure?"
Well, I wanted just to give him the opportunity because he told me he doesn't he doesn't drive anymore. So I said, "Well, I'll take that out of his hands." I mean, I wouldn't. I'd be afraid to ask Glenn Mason to Uber. Let alone,
I know. I totally get it.
So anyway.
Well, I've known Arne for many years, and we got to know each other very well personally when he was governor. And the stories he tells about growing up, and I heard a couple of them, and I don't know if he told you this, but when he was a kid, he wasn't allowed to come home until dark because his father, who was the super of the building, they weren't allowed to have more than one kid in there. So he had to wait in the park. So they were very, very poor. What
was he like? Here's what I want to know. Because, I mean, it's obviously always different when you're on the firing line than it is after the fact. So what was he like to cover? I mean, how would you describe the relationship between the media on a daily basis and Governor Carlson when he was governor?
I would call it prickly.
That's what I thought.
And it was, he did not like to be criticized, but who does?
Yeah, right.
And yet he had a very short memory. And so
he could get past it.
Absolutely. And then he was the kind of elected official, the kind of public servant who then would come up with pretty big ideas and try to push them. And we'd sit down and talk about health care and reproductive rights and those kinds of things, gay rights. He was an early supporter of gay rights.
He talked about that yesterday.
Yeah, so so he was that guy, but yeah, he was tough. He was a big supporter of the University of Minnesota. Yeah. He is the only governor who's wearing a U of M letter jacket in his official portrait, which is interesting. But when he was elected, he kind of downplayed that, but that was crazy. That was crazy times with the sex scandal of John Grunseth, who had to drop out of the race.
In literally the 11th hour, correct?
Literally 10 days before, and then Rudy Perpich went to court to keep him off the ballot. The Supreme Court ruled against Rudy Perpich. Arne Carlson was not on the ballot, in my recollection, until 5 days before the election.
That's crazy.
5 days before the election. And people were.
And he admitted, he said yesterday, he said, I got obliterated in the primary. I got annihilated.
Yeah, he did.
It wasn't even close.
It wasn't. And people thought he might win, and then he lost very badly.
Right.
But you have this freaky sex scandal of swimming with underage girls and trying to take their bathing suits off. And it got to a point where, I mean, I'd never seen anything like this. And then Grunseth was alleged to have an affair with somebody, a years-long affair while he was married. Somebody comes to my house. Somebody from the Perpich campaign late one night came to my house about 3 weeks before the election and knocked on the door, and I knew this person, part of the campaign, and they were holding a Playboy magazine. Playboy magazine. I said, what?
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Hello.
Welcome.
I have something to show you. Okay. Well, what is it?
I traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
The allegation was that John Grunseth's wife, false allegation, was a Playboy centerfold. And this was a Playboy from 1979, let's say.
And this was some Perpich operator?
Yes.
My God.
Wow, what a smoking gun.
Let me see. Well, I mean, how am I going to know? How am I? I'm asking you. How
that's
would I know?
like you. I was at a strip joint last night.
How would I know?
To do the research.
Show me the folder.
Yeah, you got to do your research. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to report on something I don't know.
Anyways, pull up your drawers. Pull up your drawers, my man.
So I'm in a position now where I've got this and they're pushing this and I've got to do due diligence. And, what would you do? Would you report this? It
sounds like you did what was right. You vetted it, right? I mean, Did you ever report it? Do you remember?
Well, let me tell you how I vetted it.
Okay.
I called his wife. And then here's a question I had to ask. Did you pose for a centerfold in Playboy magazine? And you know what she said? You know what her response was?
No.
How do I look?
What are you talking about?
I'm not making this up. She's pulling my leg. She's giving it back to me.
I see.
She's playing me.
That's a tremendous sense of humor under stress.
Well, you think about this in
that situation.
And I have to ask this question. I don't like asking these questions.
No, you don't.
Or do I?
I think.
Or do I?
Maybe you do. Maybe you don't.
So it was just really tough. So he gets on the ballot. He does get elected. And Rudy Perpich was an early Donald Trump-like. He was bitter. He was angry.
Yeah, I remember that.
That he lost. He was so angry. And he refused to do the traditional, the new governor and his spouse will come into the governor's residence, would not allow him anywhere near it until the day he was sworn in. And then they moved in and, the house is a shambles.
Yeah.
And what do you do? A couple of months later, and, he's trying to ease everybody's minds here in Minnesota because it's just been terrible for the state and the voters. And we all went over there for coffee. The press corps invites us over for coffee just to get to know you. And what do I do? Because they're fixing the mansion back up and they've got new doors on and screen doors. I walked through a screen door at the party. I mean, it was just coffee. But I'm just telling you. Yeah, Arne
So you didn't see it?
I did not see it.
Okay.
It was a newfangled.
Did you get hurt?
Badly, but I acted like nothing
Coffee
happened.
all over the place.
Absolutely.
Did you get scalded?
Arne
did you sue?
loved it.
Was the coffee
Loved
too
it.
hot? Did you do a McDonald's?
It was McDonald's.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you that Arne did everything he could. My point is that Arne did everything he could to try to ease the pain that Minnesota had felt in the last 6 months, in this what the hell election.
Right. Yeah.
So he ended up being a pretty damn good governor. Like the Republican Party now, he never got the endorsement of the party. And he was far too moderate.
Oh, no, that's why apparently endorsements aren't as important as we thought. That's what we're learning at this point. We've got 1 minute left, so this is not enough time to get into it. So on the issue of whether, it's too late, but I'll still give you a minute because I don't think we agree on this issue. On the issue of playing the president's speech live, I agree with the Smirkanish position on it, which is play it, vet the crap out of it. If I'm a citizen, I want to hear it in real time because I want to know what he's angling. But I know it's not unprecedented for the networks to say we don't run every speech. But given the subject matter, I'd run it. You, I think, disagree. Or maybe not. I don't know. You tell me what you think.
I completely disagree. I think the networks who chose not to run it made absolutely the right decision. This is not the State of the Union. This is not the inauguration. This is not even a campaign speech on the stump. This is the president, and let's remember that...
I'd say this is more important than a campaign speech on Trump.
Well, let's remember that they go to the networks and say privately, here is what he's going to talk about.
Yes.
Now, this is a guy who has a history, frankly, of telling lies.
But that's why I want it.
But there are other ways to do it. Yeah. That's
a mistake.
Old time. Run it, just run it, and then the voters are smart enough to make up their minds. and you run it, and then the reporters come on afterwards and say he did this wrong, and this is not true, this is true.
I am smart enough to make up my mind.
There's a new way of doing it.
I get it. I just don't agree with it.
Yeah,
I think I'm with Smirkanish on that. But
they did it to Biden. They did it to
I'm aware
Obama.
Of that. It's not unprecedented, but I think it's still I think it's still a mistake. All right. Well, maybe next week we'll have more time to get into it. That's it. I think we're very late. Is that all right?
Grab a donut on the way out.
Yeah,
we got to go.
Take an extra donut. We got to go.
This is Pat Kessler.
You're listening to Barrero.
This is Pat Kessler reporting.
From the 1-800-ASK-GARY Traffic Center.
This report is
presented by American Pressure, commercial-grade pressure washer since 1975.
It's the Bumper to Bumper Show Wrap.
Lots of good fodder today. I want to thank our guests, Heather Rule, who joined us in the 3 o'clock hour of the show, saluting David LeVake, who used to write preps for the Star Tribune, also wrote at least one book, passed away at the age of 50 years old. That story broke, I think, on Saturday. Heather had a great relationship with him, told some great stories. And she chatted with us at 3:30. Kessler, of course, just in the last few minutes. And it's late again to get into the subject because I think Kessler and I do disagree on the issue of airing the speech. And here's what I keep getting, and this is a good text that explains it. The voting public is not smart enough to take that speech and disseminate what's true and what is not. See, that's exactly how Trump got elected. It's, you're too stupid. I'm smarter. So I'm going to protect you from your stupidity. Not in a republic. I'm sorry. That doesn't work for me. I understand with Trump, it feels like all the rules have been reinvented. I'm not going to subvert the way I have always viewed the role of media, which is to absolutely vet. But that, to me, is also scary stuff, man. Not smart enough to I'm going to take care of you. That's how we got here. Believe me, there has been endless vetting of the distortions and lies that he has said. Endless. And there's always going to be time to do it, and that should be the job no matter who the president is. But I'm not comfortable. That's why, and I'm not alone. Like I said,